Good afternoon from Orlando. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Mike Sponsler, Regional Director to South America. And today it's really a pleasure to be able to come to you and bring to you a wonderful family that live in the country of Uruguay. The Brother Jake Palma family, who are tremendous people, have a tremendous family, and we're glad to see them. In fact, I see that there are two young children, Zoe and Lucas, that are there. Wave to us, kids. Say hello. And in fact, there's a special treat because Grandma and Grandpa O'Donnell are here. And I think maybe Zoe and Lucas wanted to say hi real quick. Say hi to Grandma and Grandpa real quick.
Hi, Grandma and Grandpa. Hi, brother and dad. Hi,
Zoe and Lucas both were born in Uruguay. And so they have dual citizenship. And they're just special kids because all missionary kids are tremendous. But we wanted to talk a little bit today with Brother Palma and Mandy, his wife, tremendous people that have done a great job. And Brother Palma, maybe we'll start with you. Tell us just a little bit about Uruguay, because it is unique in South America as far as its culture and as far as its social. So tell us just a little bit about what you work with in the country of Uruguay.
Well, yes. Thank you for having us. Uruguay, you're right. It's a very unique Latin American country. It is the most secular of Latin American countries. Heavy influence, really from Europe. It's been for many years known as a very different country in South America because there tend to be more atheists and agnostics than anywhere else in the region. And so we do deal a lot with people who do not have church background, do not have basic knowledge of the Bible. It's a challenge, but at the same time, it's wonderful because every new person that comes in is a blank slate.
That's awesome. Well, why don't you tell us just a little bit, because you have been in Uruguay now for a while, and you've really started your work from nothing to where you are now. But before we go there, why don't you tell us just a little bit, maybe give us a brief history of your call to missions, and especially to your call of Uruguay.
Right. Well, Mandy, she had felt the call to be a missionary since she was a child. I was a little late to the game. I didn't start feeling an actual call until college. In Bible college, Mandy and I went to CLC in Stockton, California. And so after we finished Bible college, we got married, and our goal was to go on the mission field. We actually applied and were accepted for a 12-month term to Argentina. But the doors closed due to some financial issues, and the regional director at the time and the supervising missionary who was there at the time, they started a conversation about some possible other options. And Uruguay was one of those options among many. But something happened in that conversation where when we heard Uruguay, we both felt it at the same time. We felt God confirm that this was his plan and this is where he wanted to get us. So it's just something that, we felt the Lord speak to us in a moment, and we went with it.
So, Sister Palma, he said that you from a young girl had felt perhaps a call to the missions. Tell us how that developed.
So I loved when missionaries would come through to our church, when they would tell stories. I loved hearing about it. And from a very young age, I started supporting missionaries and trying to figure out when could be the first time I could go on a missions trip. And I was 15, my first time going on a youth on missions trip. And I loved it.
Wow. And so you have been missionaries a total of how many years?
12.
12 years. 12 years.
2 and 10 as full-time appointments.
So tell us about AIM, Associated Missions Program, because that's how you started. Do you think that was beneficial to help introduce you to the missions call and the missions work?
Oh, for sure. It really opened our eyes to the work, and we were just manos a la obra. We were just all in it, and it really, really did help us.
Brother Palma, how did you feel when you have a call to the mission field and all of a sudden you're going on short-term missions? Was that something that bothered you, or you looked at it as a stepping stone to where you wanted to be?
No, I talked a big game about going, but there was a little bit of fear and thinking that what if I got it wrong? And so short-term missions for me was perfect because it was a necessary step to get to where we wanted to get, but at the same time I could get my feet wet without making the lifetime commitment that I knew God was calling me to. But as is the case with a lot of us, sometimes it takes a little while for us to really accept a call. So it was definitely the right thing to do, and we highly recommend it.
So you got your AIM appointment, and then 2 years later, the Lord led you to full-time missions work. And you went to Uruguay and went to a brand new city that had never had a church, had never had a true apostolic message preached to that. Tell us a little bit what it's like to walk into a brand new city, just you and your family, and from ground zero to where you are today.
In one word, terrifying. We had read some books, had some discussions, listened to some podcasts. We thought we had done everything we could to prepare ourselves for what the task was at hand. But when it came down to it, everything was new. And many times we would just have these conversations and just say, we don't really know what we're doing. We think we're doing it right, but we just got to depend on God.
And so what are some of the biggest challenges you've had stepping into a role of a church planter, a brand new family? In fact, your children were born on the field, so that presents a whole different parameters of challenges that you have. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've had as a brand new missionary going into a brand new city?
I would say culture shock was a challenge because, like we mentioned, Uruguay is the most secular country in South America. Planning a church where there had never been a church, we had no contacts. So it was starting from zero. That was a challenge, but of course it had its victories of establishing a church. Now, as you all know, we established a church where there had never been one, and we were granted legal residence, and so that was a huge victory in a secular country. To be able to have residency was a big victory for us.
So, Brother Palma, was pioneering a church your main goal, or what? When you walked into there, what kind of goals did you have? What was your main purpose, desire of being able to go into San Jose, where you are right now?
Yeah, well, we as aimers, we came to the field not without that plan. We didn't plan on being church planters, but about midway through our AIM term, we just became familiar with the need for more churches, and we just got to know a lot of the cities that had not been reached yet. And it really was just a time where God was dealing with us. We were talking with nationals, with young people, Bible college students, and trying to encourage them, go out and start a church. And really, we both felt the impression from the Lord that if we had never done it, or if we were not willing to do it, what right did we have to tell other people that that's what they should be doing? And really, that's what God spoke to us while this burden and this desire was just in its initial stages. And, San Jose, where we live now, it's a strategic city. It's in a great location. A lot of major highways run through it. So as we decided and as we prayed about it and felt confirmation to apply for full-time status, that was the goal, that we would come back to Uruguay and that we would work in church planting. Actually, if I could just add now, we are phasing out this. We're in the process right now of opening up another city, but our role is changing a little bit to more of a pastoral role in the national church sense. where we will be available to provide support and encouragement to the pastoral families of the National Church. Also, I'm the director of the Bible College now this year. That's something that was not in the plans either. But God has just been with us every step of the way. He's opened the doors, and we're just happy to be in His will.
I think one of the biggest things you can do as a missionary, you have to be flexible, because things will come and you have to be able to adapt. Now, Brother Palma is actually one of our main life coaches and training coaches for short-term workers in the region of South America. He's doing a fantastic job and has had a tremendous amount of they've had tremendous amount of AIM workers go through. So, Brother Palma, maybe you can tell us, since you've had many short-term missionaries there, what do you see their role, a short-term AIM worker, what do you see their role as helping you as a missionary?
Well, AIMers have been instrumental in establishing the church plant. We have used them from the beginning in all capacities, anything that needs to be done. They've been instrumental in opening not just this church, but also expanding apostolic witness within this region. They minister in the national churches as well through traveling. They do personal evangelism. They do evangelistic events. And like I mentioned earlier, they're also involved in helping us open the new city that we've been working in since we've been back from deputation this year. So they're just a tremendous help.
How do you feel that an AIM worker? Let me put it this way: do you feel, as a career missionary, that an AIM worker has a tremendous part in helping you as a career missionary? Do you feel that they're just there for a short term, or do you feel that you become a team together working with them in establishing your churches?
I would say definitely a team. AIMers lighten our load by assisting in admin work and ministerial duties. We also enjoy their fellowship as well. And I will add that our philosophy of hosting AIMers focuses equally on how they can help us and the work, and how we as career missionaries can help them develop their gifts and fulfill their callings into full-time missionary work.
Awesome. We were hoping to have Brother Sacy here today. Unfortunately, he is not feeling well, but he's probably been the longest serving AIM worker with you. And what has he done as far as his job description? What has he done to help you?
Well, he's a musician, so that helps a lot in just in having services. But he is very motivated to meet people, and that's really, that's an invaluable skill and desire to have as a church planter and as a missionary. It's not uncommon to run into Brother Alex, while we're out and about running errands, to see him with someone we don't know, see him having coffee with someone, or see him in the park playing soccer with other young people. He's got a teachable spirit. He's got the humility that we need in missions. And every time we send him out into the interior, anytime we send him to another church to preach, the pastors just call us back and just go on about how much of a blessing his ministry was to them. But mainly just, he's someone that's hungry to learn, hungry to serve, hungry to help. And really, you can't ask for more in a short-term missionary.
He sounds like a tremendous young man and a tremendous missionary. We're coming to the end of the interview, Brother and Sister Palma. Perhaps you might have a few words for somebody that might be interested in serving in South America, Uruguay. Maybe you could give us a few more words just before we have to say goodbye.
Right. So, one thing that we hope people will understand before coming is is accepting an invitation to come work and learn in Uruguay is not a commitment to Uruguay in the long term. Maybe you are interested in South America in general, and you just need a place to go and get your feet wet. Uruguay is a great place to start. It's a very laid back country. Of course, we have a very hands-on approach. Short-term aimers with us will get plenty of theory. You know, we read books together. We have group reflection on these books, and we talk about things that can help us be better missionaries. But on top of that, you get just as much as, if not even more, practical hands-on experience as well. So if you feel called to a Spanish-speaking country, you feel called to South America, you don't have a country yet in mind, we would love to have you in Uruguay. You can sharpen your skills if you are not a fluent Spanish speaker. If you are a fluent Spanish speaker, even better. Come on down. We can put you right to work right away. But if you want to just learn and get your feet wet and have an opportunity to serve in a country where there are lots of needs, Uruguay is a great place. And we love introducing people to the mission field here in this country.
Thank you, Brother and Sister Palma, for taking the time to be with us today, and Zoe and Lucas. And we're praying the Lord bless you. Thank you so much. If you do have any interest in going to South America, it is a wide open region. We would love to have you be a part of the South American team. Thank you so much for being with us today, for being with the Brother and Sister Palma. And we hope to see you in South America and Uruguay pretty soon. Lord bless you today.